Good morning. Welcome to Channel Connect. I'm Shweta Khalsi, Vendor Business Manager at Ingram Micro for AWS. We are diving today about SMBs, cloud adoption, and AI. With me, I have fantastic guests, John Horvath and Peter Gima. Why don't you both introduce yourself?
Sure, I'll go. So I'm Pete Gima. It's fantastic to be here. I'm really excited about this session. I've been at AWS for 8.5 years. I've been a long career in technology, so I've been through everything from the dot-com bubble right through the AI revolution, and I'm excited to see where we can go with our partners such as Ingram going forward.
That's great. Hi, everyone. I'm John Horvath. I lead cloud and AI here at Ingram Micro Canada. Thank you, Pete. Happy to have you here. Thank you, Shweta. Got the luxury of working with our AWS team, and we've been scaling that business for the past 4 years. I've been here at Ingram, which is fantastic. So happy to dive into SMB.
Thank you both. Let's get started. Let's get started with the big picture. How do you see SMBs evolving in Canada? Pete, we can start with you.
Great. So it's changed a lot, Shweta. So over the last 8.5 years, we have seen a lot of customers, think about cloud differently. When I started, the very first question was, why cloud? We don't really get that anymore. The next question used to be, why AWS? We don't really get a lot of that anymore either. So now customers, the level of awareness they have is substantial. So the question then becomes how to do cloud. So that's where we leverage our partners and a ton of different engagement vehicles that we work through. But what we typically find is that most customers, even though they now know they need to, they don't really know how to get started. Yep. And that's where our partners can come in and help them get pointed in the right direction.
Yep.
And I
Hearing
think,
your thoughts, John.
yeah, we focus on partners. That's our business, right? Building through partners. So we see end customer, we have conversation with end customer when our partners bring us to that table. I think for Canada, the backbone of business here is SMB, and we have a lot of partners selling into that space for a long time. For them, there's been the questions as to how to get started with cloud, how to get started with AWS and hyperscalers in general. They've been focused a lot on the traditional server side, on database, and on-prem type solutions, maybe dabbling with hybrid. We've been pushing them and playing with them now in the cloud space. So Ingram has staffed up. We have a team of 11 people now here in Canada, bilingual resources. We've got a professional services bench, and we've got solutions for them to get started. So really for us, what's changed in SMB is the partners are gravitating more toward cloud native type solutions, maybe transitioning their business into more development, more focus on innovation, bringing new customer requests too. I think that's something we've seen, and customers that want to move into cloud, they don't know how to get started. We might work with them, bring in our professional team, our professional services, solutions architects, start to work on solutions and really see how we can transition that end customer into cloud, whether that be through migration, POCs as well. I think we've seen a lot of end customers start to dabble with too, just to start playing with cloud, right?
Yeah, we've seen a pretty substantial change in the entry points. Initially, customers thought that this was going to be an awful lot of work, and in many cases it can be, but it doesn't have to be either. So, there are some customers that will want to take very much I want what I have on premises or what I have in my colo, I want to just move it into AWS, and you can do that. We have a lot of customers that will take the opportunity to have that conversation to do a bit of a kind of a modernization in place.
Yeah.
And then we've also seen, especially I would say lately, a lot of customers, as far as putting like a toe in the water with cloud, is starting to do, ISV SaaS solutions, whether it be security, observability. Every time there is some sort of breach or some sort of ransomware, that will tend to turn the heat up on these conversations as well. Very few customers want to be exposed, and they know in many cases they are. And frankly, we worry about some of our customers like that.
That's true. I think security for sure with SMB is number one focus, number one kind of concern. I love the fact that AWS is the fastest, most secure, most redundant hyperscaler in Canada. That's an easy conversation to have. Having the infrastructure that's in place in Canada, keeping data residents here for those SMBs is at the forefront of their conversation.
Yeah, that's been a pretty typical trend in public sector. But we are seeing that come up a lot more frequently now. Customers that are very interested in just leveraging, our Canadian data centers. It's been much more substantial than we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and I think the horsepower that's there too. I think about our traditional partner and end customer base. A lot of them have had their own data center, or it's an MSP that has stood up with a co-location. To be able to tap into AWS, the economies of scale that you all have, the compute power, just the sheer quantity of data center, right? That you can tap into here on this variable pay type model and pay as you go is just a totally new look for SMBs and end customers. So we have a lot of educating on the financial side to do, how to procure, how to pay for cloud, but it definitely allows them to start testing the waters, right?
Right.
Interesting perspectives. Let's move to our next question. So one of the most common entry points for SMBs are lift and shift migrations, right? A lot of customers really want to move their existing workloads to cloud, and then they would like to modernize, right? Where do you see partners are supporting these migrations, and how is AWS supporting the customer moves to cloud?
For us, we were the first distributor in Canada to capture our migration competency. That's been very helpful for our partners, especially in the SMB space. If they're transitioning into cloud, or if they have this kind of cloud type mentality, you're able to use Ingram's competency to bring MAP program, or AWS's funded migration program, to the partner and to the end customer ultimately. And AWS strives to move that on-prem infrastructure into cloud for the least cost possible to the end customer. So it's a fantastic program. We also have stood up our professional services to be able to help those partners.
We've got some customers that we work with, born in the cloud. They can be startup, they can be like very, tech heavy, tech focused accounts. And many of those customers, the knowledge level is quite high. In order to move forward, the first question they have to ask themselves is, what is the starting point? With AWS, we have very much a working backwards model where we identify the business goals. And I know our partners work in the same way. So we have programs such as MAP, where one of the first steps is to identify, to do an assessment, and to say, what is the scenario? What do we need to move over? So partners can come in, especially when you have a trusted partner that's been working with somebody for a while. Even if they don't have the full, even if that partner doesn't have the full cloud knowledge in order to help a customer get through, that's where an Ingram can come in and backstop those partners and help out with whether it's migrations or some of the modernization options that are available for customers. And then to make sure they bring across what makes sense and to fix what doesn't. And then to supplement with, anything that is plug and play like an ISV solution.
I think let's address the elephant in the room now. I'm going to talk about AI.
Okay.
We've been talking about cloud adoption for years, right? Customers used to hesitate, like, do we really want to move into cloud? Is there a recurring cost we are going to pay? And then AI came in the market, right? And we have realized that it's no more a buzzword. SMBs are using this every day today. Starting from small retailers, they are using chatbots to answer their queries for the customers. And then there are accounting firms using automating invoices for their customers, right? So it's there every day, right? What are you seeing the cloud AI adoption journey for your SMB market today?
The way these conversations typically work from AWS, and I'm sure with many of our partners, you will start the conversation typically around AI. What is it you're trying to accomplish? What pain points do you have? How are you trying to innovate through AI? That can be cost reduction. It can be, building services into their products. It can go a lot of different directions. What we typically find is those AI conversations with a large number of accounts, you end up having analytics conversations to understand what it is they're doing. And then you quickly find out that in many cases, those customers actually have a data problem. So you're now into a foundational services. So you're building towards the future, but you have to step back to the foundation level. And you are providing a roadmap going forward. But we typically, while we can address some of these AI services, like through a chatbot, for example, pretty quickly, the real value of AI comes when it gets integrated within an org. So the operational efficiencies, the cost reductions, the building into the services, in many cases, that really starts with a strong data foundation.
I agree. It's the input, right? Clean data in, and you'll get something amazing on the back end with AI. We see it in a bit of a different lens because we have that partner involvement And we're also using AI. We're a 46-year-old distributor sitting on mountains of data, right, from our partners, our end customers, helping bring insights and bring some sort of AI spin to our partners, right? We have our Xvantage platform. We've started launching assessments for partners on there through our Enable AI program, where we have a partner take their assessment. We can score them and rate them as to what their capability from an AI standpoint is. And then we position them into growth tracks, right? Those could be vendor agnostic. We actually apply vouchers for plural sites so they can start learning and really getting their teams involved with what use cases they can see functioning for their business. And that's where the conversation starts with our partner is we can talk about data all day long. We can talk about migrations. Show me your end customer. Show me the segment that you're operating in. And then let's talk about the use cases that would be attracted to those end customers. What can we implement to help your business? And we'll work backwards from there because we have people to help with the technology. We can enable partners. We can do all those things as we normally do. But some of those questions and use cases have turned into AWS and Ingram working together, building click to run type solutions, right? These bundles, these starter kits that we call them. And that's a little taste for the end customer to get them up and running, and they can say that they're working with AI, right? AWS has collaborated with Ingram at a global scale, right? With looking at SMB, where to get started, what end customers are asking most for. And we've actually come up with over a dozen starter kits now. These are click to run type solutions for partners. They actually show the technical documentation. They've got sales pitches. They have PDFs and one pagers for kind of all the technology being used. And it's an easy way for an end customer to start trying something. Our professional services team worked with AWS and our solutions architects at AWS to build these. And we're constantly adding to that menu of options for partners, which is really interesting. We touch on AI in this conversation. We actually have a couple AI starter kits, which are really unique. It really, again, it's coming back to that business case, where to get started. And then partners can use those starter kits as little Lego blocks, right? We have the security starter kit in a bundle. We've got networking. We have migration type starter kits as well. These are all available through Xvantage. You can work with our professional services team. They will send you all the documentation you need to get started, but it's a great way to try and to test. We talked about that partner base too. For any new partner that is coming to us, coming to AWS, what a great way to get started. We've already done the work for you. Digest the material. We can help you pitch to your end customer and get those click to run solutions rolling.
Yep. So I know that SMB is, again, the top priority for AWS, and I know that AWS is investing a lot. So would you like to discuss a little more about SBI program, the Small Business Accelerator Incentive, which we have launched for the partners?
Yes, it has been one of our success stories of 2025. We technically launched it as a very small pilot in 2024. And, but we didn't even have any data, but we had some anecdotal evidence that it was going to help us. The reality is, there are, if you look at the traditional space within Canada, there's about 120,000 accounts that you would have some sort of IT infrastructure. And that would be, they've got their own data center, or they're on a colo, or even if they've got like a computer room, but then you've got all these other organizations. There's another million organizations out there that have some form of IT requirements, some sort of need, and they're storing their data somewhere. So we know the market for us is very, very substantial. The challenge is, even within AWS, it's a big company, but we don't have the resources to get to everywhere. So we knew the partner was the way to go. The Small Business Accelerator Initiative was something that was rolled out in 2025. And we have seen engagements with our customers that through our partners that we just simply couldn't get to before. So, with the different level of training, the lead generation that gets included, just frankly, the ongoing engagement that we have and knowing exactly how to get our customers pointed in the right direction to help them, that has been a game changer for us with customers that were always, we thought were interesting, but we didn't know how to get to them. So this has been, I think, a good way for AWS to scale, and also a way for our partners to help scale to get to these customers as well.
Until next time, stay cloudy and keep innovating. Thank you all.